Today, 50 more useless facts about the ocean. Oceanography is the study of the world's ocean, and it's more than just one thing. You must also learn geography, physics, biology, chemistry, geology, and meteorology. By contrast, hydrography is the study of navigable waters and their physical characteristics. Oceanographers generally divide the world ocean into three major oceans: Atlantic, Pacific, and Indian. Some even call for a fourth ocean, Antarctic Ocean. In 1998, Benoit Lacombe became the first man to swim across the Atlantic Ocean without a kickboard. He swam an average of 8 hours a day for 73 days, resting and eating on a boat in between swims. In 2016, he announced plans to swim the Pacific. Unfortunately, 2 years later, in 2018, he announced that he will not swim the Pacific Ocean because he was close to being 50 years old. Still, he swam an ocean of garbage in the Atlantic Ocean. The ocean is the main driver for the planet's weather cycles, acting like a heater and as an air conditioner. Historically, ocean depths were measured by lowering ropes with weights attached. Since 1927, we are using eco-sounding technology to do the same thing. The rope and weight wasn't the best to measure more than just one point. The Pacific Ocean is the world's deepest on average, and the Arctic is the shallowest. The Sargasso Sea is a unique area in the world ocean. This area in the North Atlantic has a very clear, warm, deep blue water. It supports very little life except for sargassum or gulfweed, from which it gets its name. The ocean tides, or the cycle of rising and falling sea levels along coasts, generally follow an interval of 12 hours and 25 minutes. Ocean tides are caused by gravitational interaction between the sun, moon, and earth. People once believed that the sun was the source of all life on earth. The discovery of living creature in the extreme depths of the ocean where no sunlight penetrates disproved this hypothesis. The chemical ratio of salt water in the ocean is fairly consistent across the world, a phenomenon known as Forchammer's principle after the Danish scientist who discovered it. In 1519, Spanish explorer Ferdinand Magellan led an expedition of 5 ships in an attempt to discover western sea route to the Spice Islands. 4 of the 5 ships were lost and Magellan himself was killed, but 1 ship returned home after 3 years, making it the first vessel to sail all the way around the world. The giant squid is so elusive that we know very little about it. It was long believed to be a creature of myth. However, Japanese photographers captured a live giant squid on film for the very first time in 2004. The Persian Emperor Xerxes, who reigned Persia from the year 406 to the year 465 BC, reportedly had his soldiers whip the sea while salting it after a wave destroyed a bridge his army was constructing. The ocean is big business. A mere 14% of US counties, all of which border the ocean, make up 45% of US gross domestic product. GDP. 3 million US jobs, or about 1 in 45, are dependent in some way upon the ocean. In 1927, aviator Charles Lindbergh made the first successful solo no-stop flight over the Atlantic Ocean. The strong and dangerous currents that sometimes pull people out to the sea are called rip currents. The best way to escape the grip of a rip current is to swim parallel to the shore or diagonally away from the current, not directly against it, and of course not with it. A common feature of many mythological traditions is a massive flood held to have happened in the early days of the world. Such floods appear in Sumerian, Jewish, Christian, Egyptian, Norse, Babylonian, and Hindu mythology. The ocean has a romantic quality that humans are uniquely drawn to. Many people throughout history have felt the call to a life at sea, and philosophers, poets, and artists have often turned to it as a subject for aesthetic contemplation. The sea is a home to a variety of mythological creatures. The most famous is the Kraken, but even more so could be the mermaids, which appeared in a number of European myths. While occasionally friendly, these creatures are often dangerous seductresses who lure sailors to their death. Some say mermaids were just lamantins, and the sailors who died were horny sailors that jumped the ship to mate with a lamantine, and the animal was... what? In the popular children's book, The 5 Chinese Brothers, one of the brothers has the amazing ability to hold the entire ocean in his mouth. The ocean has often served as a sort of communal garbage can for human beings. One recent example of this is the dumping of 777,000 tons of water contaminated by radioactive tritium by the Fukushima power plant in Japan in 2017. The blue whale is the largest animal or has ever existed on Earth. This majestic mammal travels all over the world ocean. The male can reach a length of 24 meters, females 25, and weight-wise 70,000 to 150,000 kilograms. Jacques-Yves Cousteau and Émile Gougnien invented the scuba regulator in 1942, which allowed for breathing underwater and opened up new vistas for ocean exploration. Jacques-Yves Cousteau built and inhabited the first undersea habitat. He lived in the underwater structure named Conshelf 1 for a week in 1962. Algal blooms can be as devastating to aquatic population as oil spills. Sometimes coastal waters will turn red because they are suddenly overrun by algal growth. These red tides can overwhelm the water, killing millions of fish and other marine life in the process. Hurricanes are born through the interaction of Earth's winds and her oceans. When winds happen upon a pocket of warm seawater, the result is often a massive storm that can sweep inland and devastate coastal areas. Carrageenan, a seaweed extract, is used as an emulsifier in a variety of common products like peanut butter, cosmetics, or even toothpaste. It's most commonly present in gelatinous products. In Genesis, the first animals God creates are sea animals, which accords to today's view that first life came from the oceans. For a long time, it was believed that Venus was oceanic like Earth, partly because of the swirling clouds that cover the planet. In his dialogue, Timaeus, Plato tells the story of a fantastical, wealthy city called Atlantis, which sank into the sea. The legend has inspired treasure and adventure seekers, documentarians, for the past 2000 years. Norse mythology held that the end of the world would come about through a massive flood caused by Jörmungandr, the great serpent who circles the world. Tsunamis, or seismic sea waves, are huge, devastating waves caused by earthquakes, underwater landslides, or volcanic eruptions. The word tsunami is a Japanese word derived from the term Great Harbor Wave. Tsunamis have been known to kill upwards of 250,000 people and flatten entire coastal cities. One of the largest tsunamis in history occurred in 1883 when the Indonesian volcano Krakatoa erupted. The resulting wave reached 133 feet high, or around 40 meters, devastated the coast of Java and Sumatra, killing 36,000 people. One of the waves reportedly carried a boat 2 miles inland. One of the most serious dangers associated with deep sea diving is decompression sickness, commonly known as the bends. If a diver returns too quickly to the surface, bubbles can form in the blood or body tissue, blocking off circulation and leading to pain, paralysis, or even death. Sir Francis Drake, the infamous sea dog and beloved pirate of Queen Elizabeth I, was the first Englishman to circumnavigate the globe, and he was licensed by the British Crown to harass Spanish shipping vessels. Scottish myths speak of the Selkies, magical sea lions who could take human form. The origins of the modern submarine date all the way back to the ancient Greece. Legend holds that Alexander the Great had his men lower him into the sea in a glass barrel so that he could study fish. Who knows? Modern submarines have first appeared in the early 1600s. William Bourne, a British innkeeper and mathematician, proposed the idea, and Dutch inventor Cornelius von Drebbel built the first workable submarine. They've been used for military purposes to varying degrees of success since 1776, when a one-man American craft called the Turtle unsuccessfully attacked a British warship. Since then, submarines have gotten a lot better. There are still some accidents, but they have revolutionized naval battle. Who knows what lost treasure sits on the floor? It's estimated that between 1 million and 3 million ships have sunk to the bottom of the ocean over the course of human history, less than 1% of which have been salvaged. Recent geological evidence suggests that there is a hidden ocean buried in Earth's mantle. The water is trapped inside a substance called ringwoodite, and some believe that there is as much water below the surface as there is in the oceans. Scuba diving has become both a useful tool and a popular hobby. The scuba system, which has allowed human beings to intimately explore the underwater world. It's actually an acronym. SCUBA stands for Self-Contained Underwater Breathing Apparatus. Drinking seawater in large amounts can be deadly for human beings, as the kidneys cannot handle such high levels of sodium. With these 50 facts, of which maybe 5 could be useful if you were to be in an ocean, in a dire situation, I'm sure you won't remember these things tomorrow, not in a few years' time, in the middle of an ocean, contemplating drinking the water or marine biology. Don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and hit the notification button, the bell. I'll be back soon with more useless facts. Until next time, beware of the falling apples.